If you've tried to eat healthy before and it didn't stick, you've got to understand it was not your fault. They told you to change absolutely everything about your diet all at once, but today I'm going to ask you to change one thing, not your whole life, just one simple meal, and I'm going to show you that getting healthy is much simpler than anybody is out there making it sound. Last time on the show, we talked about how it's not your bad genes that are making you sick, it's not just part of aging or bad luck, it's the food. We talked about how hidden oils and fats are sneaking into your normal looking food, and we showed you how the food you've been eating for decades is quietly making you sick. We even had a visit from my mom, whose doctor just wasn't telling her the whole truth about how she could be in control of changing her health. But today we need to talk about getting started. I'm going to show you how easy that first step can be, and when it's all said and done, you're going to know how to make one simple, easy, delicious, and filling meal in under 10 minutes. And I'm going to introduce you to Marie, who failed several times because she was just making it too complicated. She lost 70 pounds all by making it super simple. But first, let's dig into what's making you feel so confused about getting healthy. Okay, everybody, what is everything you got to do to get healthy? We're getting healthy today. Shout them out in the comments. Let me know. It's time to get healthy. We got keto, antioxidants. You got to eat only organic food. Weight Watchers. Yeah, we got to count those points. Supplements. Just add more supplements. Celery juice. Wheat belly. Oh no, the grains. The Atkins diet. What's driving me nuts? It's a million things. Here's the thing, everybody. We need to focus on one meal. Just one easy meal. That's how to do it. What's your next meal? You remember Marie, I told you lost 70 pounds? Well, she was faced with this same thing. All these decisions, all these things she had to do every day. She was trying to build herself the perfect 20-point plan of things she had to do every single day in order to achieve health, or it just wouldn't happen. Well, she was motivated for like one day to do all that, but finally life caught up to her and she realized this is not sustainable. I'm never gonna get healthy. And when she got results, she simplified it down to just one simple thing. And I'm gonna show you the simple dump soup, she called it, that got her back on track and healthy and has worked for her ever since. But first, I gotta get to the warehouse to pack some Well Your World orders. You know, when I first started eating this way and switching to healthy food, I didn't change everything all at once. I had a really hectic job. I had a whole construction business installing solar panels on rooftops, so I was on a hot roof all day. Logistics were crazy, running to the supply house to get more stuff, watching the crew install and make sure everything was going down right. So it felt like lunch would be my hardest meal to change, but I just picked one thing and it was that very lunch. So in the morning, all I did was I got up 5 minutes earlier, threw a couple cans of beans on the stove, threw in some seasonings, threw them in my thermos, had some pico at the ready, put it all together and walked out the door. The original Stanley Cup. And then during the crazy workday, it actually saved me time. I didn't have to go get in my truck and go to fast food and come back. I just hid in a little corner, ate my meal, and went about my day. So good. Why am I telling you this? Because I want you to do the same thing. No matter how hectic your schedule is, there's something you can do on repeat every day. Fit in that one healthy meal and start getting results, because otherwise you're gonna be waiting and waiting and waiting to get started until the situation is just right. But life is crazy. The situation is never gonna be right. Now I have 2 kids, a crazy job, and I still make it work for my schedule, and I think you can too. I think I've eaten this meal in 100 different locations around the city, and that was my one simple change, and I want to help you find yours. Now join me to the grocery store. We got to pick out some ingredients because I'm going to show you the one simple meal change that Marie made, and you're going to love it. We're at our local Fry's grocery store. You may know it as Kroger where you're from, and this is where people can freeze up and get a little freaked out because the grocery store feels expensive and complicated, but I'm going to show you it's quite the opposite. Our friend Marie turned her life around in her 60s and lost 70 pounds just by simplifying her diet, and she made a potato corn chowder that is one of our most famous recipes. I'm going to show you exactly where to go in the grocery store to get some simple ingredients so you don't even have to chop for this one. Come on, let's check it out. What's your favorite grocery store? Where do you shop? Let me know down below in the comments. Welcome to the land of frozen potatoes. It looks like we have a whole wall of 1,000,000 frozen potato options that are great, but the problem is only 3 of them are actually good. Most of them are things like tater tots. These look like they're potatoes like anything else, but we've got a lot of added items here. There are tons of ingredients and many different types of oil. So this is adulterated potatoes. These have been filled with fat. and they're no longer healthy. That goes for the French fries, the crinkly fries, these little patties, what do they call them? The hash brown patties. They're all fried in oil and unfortunately not good foods to be eating. You've always got pretty much at every grocery store 3 amazing items. You got your shredded potatoes. We're not going to use these in today's recipe, but this is an awesome item to throw on your non-stick griddle and make some easy hash browns. But you can use the hash browns in this soup, by the way. It works really well. But the 2 I love are the potatoes O'Brien or your plain southern style hash brown potatoes, diced potatoes. These, the only difference is these have diced up onions and bell peppers, which I like. I'll take the onions and bell peppers, why not? So I usually go with the O'Brien style. I don't know why O'Brien got credit for this, but boy is he famous in my heart. And by the way, you're gonna love this soup, so it makes sense to double up on the ingredients now so you can make another batch next week. We need some corn. Of course, you can use a can of corn, but what I love about frozen corn is that it always has no added salt, just single ingredient corn. I love the roasted corn. It's got that char marks on it. Or you could get the super sweet corn. That works great. Now, what makes for a delicious soup? We gotta have some chopped onions, carrots, celery, or mixed veggies of some sort. We got options in the frozen section. One I really love, by the way, is just plain frozen onions. I love this in all kinds of dishes because you don't have to cry when you're chopping. They're already chopped. And some people think, by the way, that frozen means it's not fresh or something like that, but frozen is very healthy. These are perfectly healthy ingredients. You did not get sick because you were eating frozen single ingredient veggies like a chopped onion. You got sick because of all the other junk they often put in some of the mixed bag frozen items like we were looking at with those potatoes and whatnot. But you wanna know my absolute favorite veggie option for this potato corn chowder? It's the mirepoix mix. Most stores do have some kind of version of carrots, celery, onion. This has got all 3 in the bag, boom, chopped up, ready to go. Potato corn chowder is a pretty creamy, delicious soup, but I want to keep it low fat, and a great way to do that is with plant milk. Unsweetened soy milk. Try to find the unsweetened because it won't have so many added ingredients in there, like the sugary stuff or the vanilla flavors and things like that. I like to find just soybeans and water with minimal other ingredients added. A lot of people love almond milk. The thing with almond milk, it's great, but when you buy it at the store, there are a lot of added ingredients. It even says unsweetened, which was one of those good keywords, but there are things like gums, different soy lecithin, sunflower lecithin. There's added salt in this one. So I don't choose this one. If I'm making it at home, almond milk is great, but I try to avoid those added ingredients, so I usually go with the plain, simple, unsweetened soy milk. Let's talk herbs and spices for a moment. Grocery stores like Kroger have their own name brand, which you can save a lot of money on. I'm not much of a spice snob, and I don't think you should be either, because you're really not sacrificing much in the way of flavor or quality, in my opinion. You're gonna get a great product no matter what. This recipe uses some chives. You can usually find some dried chives, some paprika. These are only like $1 and change. We're gonna use some garlic, so you could use garlic powder. You could use the minced garlic in the jar. We've got some parsley flakes. That's a big one for this. And one secret ingredient I love that you don't need if your grocery store doesn't have it is tarragon. I love some dried tarragon. You might know, I didn't even know what it was when I started using it, and I thought, well, I should try that out, and I love the flavor in our potato corn chowder, but it's optional. And I'm heading for checkout. Meet me back in the kitchen where we're gonna turn all this into a meal in under 10 minutes, and I'll tell you a bit more about Marie's story too. See you there. We're in the kitchen and it is time to cook, and remember that whiteboard from earlier? That's driving me nuts. Health is not a long list of things you've got to do. It's a short list, one meal, and we're making Marie's perfect meal because it worked for her and it'll work for you too. It worked for me too, by the way. Now, before we make a healthy version of chowder, let's talk about the traditional chowder that we are given the boot. Traditional chowder has a lot of unhealthy ingredients. The heavy cream or milk, we don't need that. We're gonna use a healthy, whole natural plant milk. We aren't gonna be using cheese. You don't need any cheese. Your mouth might be used to those really rich flavors, but we're gonna start getting it used to these healthy foods that are gonna promote your health, get you off the meds, feeling great, help you lose weight, and thrive. We're gonna use 3 simple frozen ingredients that we were checking out at the store. Are you ready? Let's start by dumping. I'm gonna start with our mirepoix mix. Now, many soups often start with a saute step, right? You could dice up your own carrots, celery, onion, saute them until they're soft and tender, but I just skipped that step because I'm here to get this thing done quickly. So I'm throwing all the veggies in here and we're just gonna let them simmer on the stove and that'll be good enough for me. We love to cut corners. Do I still saute on some recipes? Of course I do. Here goes that corn. I probably don't need the whole bag, but whatever. Let's get this baby in there. It's a corn chowder, am I right? And now we've got those magical potatoes. We go through a lot of bags of these potatoes O'Brien that we got here. It's a whole ice cube. By the way, you don't need to worry about thawing things out. You can just walk into the kitchen, throw everything into the tank, and let it simmer. This is about half full. I want about 2 cups for this one, so that'll work. Let's just dump it in. As you can see, that's a full pot of bulky veggies and starches. The corn and the potatoes are starchy carbs, whole food carbs that are gonna fill you up. Now, I like to use veggie broth in just about everything. We've got the Well Your World veggie broth here, but you can use a store-bought quart of veggie broth. This is actually cheaper than that. So I'm gonna be adding water to this, so I'll add our veggie broth mix to go with it. It's about 4 cups of water, so this is about good for me. Now remember, when it comes to veggie broth at the store, try to find one that doesn't have a ton of salt or added oils or things like that. That's why I like to use ours. We got some nutritional yeast here. This adds to kind of that sort of cheesy tanginess. You can find this at most stores. Again, we sell one on our site, but anything will do for you. And now I have some dried chives. I don't even measure. The whole recipe is gonna be down below in the comments. I just do handfuls of things. And once you've done this a lot of times, it's gonna work that way for you too. I've got dried parsley. Again, I take a nice handful and I'll just do a nice generous sprinkle of garlic powder. You can change the core ingredients of this soup too, to whatever you've got, to whatever you fancy. Some black pepper's gotta go in there. I love a little black pepper. Now here's that tarragon. I was telling you about this in the store. Tarragon's just a regular old kitchen herb. You grow it in your garden. It just adds an interesting flavor. If you don't have it, don't worry. And now we just need to add enough water to turn this into the consistency of soup that you like. I don't even bother measuring it. I just pour it in. If you had your kettle going, that could save you a little time, but honestly, I come into this, I don't think ahead. So I just throw everything in the tank and we're going to the stove. Look at this thing. It just looks like a Potatoes O'Brien iceberg right now, but let it cook, just let it sit and simmer for 10 minutes. Oh, it's come together. You can see now it looks a lot different than it did when it started. Everything's kind of melded together and delicious. Let's pour some soup. When we put this together, there wasn't salt in anything. So what do I like to do? I like to sprinkle a little bit of salt onto my bowl. That's way less salt than you're ever gonna get from some conventional, like a canned soup or a soup from the restaurant. Let's have a bite. I just love this soup. It always surprises me just how delicious something so simple can be. Now let me tell you more about Marie. She went from 267 pounds down to 197 pounds in short order just by eating simple 10-minute meals like this one. Marie's in her 60s, she works a physical job, and she wants me to tell you that it's never too late to get started. You may be thinking, oh, I'm too far gone, I'll never, but it's not true. I'm gonna enjoy a few bowls of this chowder and then meet me in my office. I have a few questions that came in that I wanna answer especially for you. Welcome to my new adorable recording studio. This is where I've been recording a lot of content for a course that we're working on and we'll have out soon. And also it's where we do our accountability group calls, and I'll tell you about that a little later. But first, I've been getting a lot of questions and I want to take some time in each of these episodes to sit down and answer a few of them for you. So let's get into it. Number one question that I got from Matt, this one is about protein. He says, where do we get our protein when we're eating healthy? This is one of the most common questions that we get when we're switching to a healthy diet that doesn't have a bunch of meat and dairy in it. People wonder, am I gonna get the protein? Especially in this day and age where protein has been hyped hardcore. People think that they've got to get protein in every single bite of food, but good news, you are getting protein in every bite of food, even when you're eating the healthy foods that we promote. For example, beans. Beans are full of protein. Beans are probably the healthiest and definitely the most affordable source of protein that you can get. They're going to promote your health, leave you full and satisfied and energized. Beans are protein. But all of the foods we eat have at least some protein, and the amount of protein you need is much less than all of these bodybuilder types are out there telling you that you need. It doesn't take a lot of protein to be healthy. You've never been protein deficient. We have never been protein deficient eating this way for 10 years. There is nothing in our blood work that says, hey, you're not getting enough protein in your diet. Another amazing source of protein is soy. We eat a lot of tofu, edamame, even a glass of soy milk has several grams of protein. Even potatoes have some protein, though it is less, but all foods have a balance of all three macros: fat, protein, and carbs, and you're getting more than enough if you eat a healthy number of calories in a day. Barbara says, doesn't this mean that I have to give up all the foods that I love? I don't want to give up chocolate. But here's the thing, I didn't ask you to give up anything in this video. This video was all about asking you to make one healthy meal tonight and then do it again tomorrow. You can still have the foods you love. You don't need to make all of these big changes overnight. Over time, you're going to start to feel better from integrating healthy food into your diet, and you're going to want to start cutting back on the foods that you think you love that are causing you a lot of harm. We specialize in simplifying your healthy diet, fast, easy 10-minute meals, one-pot meals, dump and go meals, instant pot meals, get in and get out. Be sure to comment down below if you've got some questions. I'd be happy to answer them on the next episode. And really quickly, I want to tell you that we've just launched an accountability group. We get so many questions from people. How do I get started? I don't know where to begin. And as simple as I make this sound in these videos, it can be paralyzing for people to make big changes all at once. That's why I'm trying to explain, for example, make one healthy meal. But we can work together in our accountability group. We do weekly live calls. We'd love for you to join us. There's a link down below. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Welcome to one of the most important health tips that nobody's talking about, and that's sleep. Sleep is the most underrated thing when it comes to getting healthy. Not just because sleep gives you a physical improvement, you need to get sleep in order to feel energized, but sleep also makes it easier to make good decisions. When you're exhausted, you're gonna go for the fast fat, the fast sugar, because you need even more of a dopamine hit just to feel normal. But if you're getting a good sleep, it makes the decision-making process much easier. You don't need better willpower, you just need a good sleep and to feel like you're waking up ready to take on the day and make good decisions. Get 7 or 8 hours of sleep tonight and I can almost guarantee you the cravings are going to quiet down on their own. You'll be making good decisions without even trying because you'll be rested enough to put yourself first. Just go to bed. It's free and it's the easiest win there is. See you in the morning. You don't need to overhaul your whole entire life to get healthy. You just need one win, and that win comes from the healthy meal we made today. So tell me down below in the comments if you're making that chowder. I want to know about it. And tomorrow, get one more win by making one more healthy meal. Love you, bye.